This is BBC World News Today with me, Zainab Badawi, live from the European Parliament in Brussels, where results in the European elections have delivered shock results in key EU member states. In France, the National Front win the most votes in what their leader, Marine Le Pen, describes as a massive rejection of the EU. In Britain, the UK Independence Party tops the polls for the first time in a nationwide poll, and Eurosceptic parties on the left and right elsewhere make sweeping gains. Has the Brussels bubble been burst? Well, let's now get another view about what's been going on here in Europe. I'm joined now live from The Hague by Dutch analyst Joop Hazenberg, EU analyst, looking at the results and what they tell us. Joop Hazenberg, a clear message here of a real savage blow to the arch federalists. That European project can no longer exist given these results.
I think this is not true. There's a lot of alarmist tone in the reports that we just heard. 30% of the voters voted for an anti-EU or a populist party, but still 70% of the votes went to pro-European parties. What you will see is that these parties have large problems. These anti-European parties have problems formulating a group, a family. And if they manage, we will still have a grand coalition of the main parties, the Christian Democrats and the Social Democrats, and even the Liberals, pushing through more pro-European legislation, for instance, on the banking union. So this whole European train will continue running, even after these very shocking elections.
Joop Hazenberg, yeah, I take your point that these sort of shock results, the political earthquake, only really applies to a handful of countries. However, we have seen the protest vote rise from 21% in 2009's elections to 30% this time. So you have got a larger body, a more mixed, varied number of parties in this European Parliament, more than ever before since elections started for the European Parliament in 1979.
Yes, that is very true, but you also see quite a low turnout. Also in the Netherlands, for instance, a very pro-European country, only 37% of the people actually went to vote. Also, for instance, the electorate of the PVV from Geert Wilders, two-thirds didn't go to the voting polls. So there's also quite some disinterest to the European project per se. And I think there's also a bit of a latent support by people who don't bother even to vote. My problem is that there's a collapse of trust in the EU because of the mishandling of the euro crisis in the last few years, as we have seen, leading to dramatic results, high state debts, but also an unemployment of over 26 million people unemployed, and no growth of the EU, no growth of the European economy in the next few years. That's going to be the major challenge for the next Commission and for the next Parliament.
All right. Dutch analyst Joop Hazenberg, thanks very much indeed for joining us live via webcam from The Hague. So, you have it there, political earthquakes in a handful of countries, but business as usual in many others. And the challenge for all is how to make the EU relevant to its citizens. As we said, voter turnout was low, 43% on average, and well under 20% in some EU member states.